The movie begins with a snow-covered Alaska. There, we see a middle-aged man named John working for an oil production company. John says to himself, "I am a very bad person. Day after day, I have committed unjust acts, things so terrible they can't be forgiven. Ever since my wife left, my life has lost direction. I have no idea what I'm doing or why I am doing it. Right now, I work as a hunter for a company deep in the forest, protecting the workers from wolf attacks because I'm a skilled shooter. So far, I have killed countless wolves. But sometimes I wonder, is it right to kill these helpless creatures just for our benefit? Or am I making a huge mistake?" These days, John often feels like a criminal. He was writing down all his feelings in a letter. The truth is, John's life lacks purpose, and he has become mentally broken. He even thought about ending his life but ultimately couldn't let go of the world. He decides to take a 2-week leave to return to his home country, thinking that staying away from everything might make him feel a little better. So on that day, he goes hunting for the last time. Sitting before a dying wolf, John feels its final heartbeat, its breaths, as if he could sense its life slipping away. This scene has a significant connection to the movie's ending. Afterward, John sets out with his bag to return home. As the plane soared through the sky, none of the passengers inside realized this would be their last journey. Shortly afterward, the passengers felt a jolt. They screamed in fear. Then, all the electronic devices inside the plane started shutting down. The temperature inside the plane began to drop significantly. Moments later, they experienced another strong jolt, and this time, all the lights in the plane went out. Looking out the plane window, John realizes that disaster is imminent. The plane is about to crash. Tightening his seatbelt, John braces himself. Within moments, everything inside the plane gets thrown around by the force of the wind. Losing control, the plane crashes onto the snowy peak of a mountain. Somehow, John survives. Opening his eyes, he sees nothing but snow all around him. Amidst the snow lies the wreckage of the plane. John steps forward to help others, rescuing the surviving passengers one by one from the wreckage. Of all the passengers, only 7 survive. John tells them, "If we want to survive this cold, we must light a fire as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll freeze to death." Finding materials to light a fire in the snow proved challenging. They began collecting dry paper and parts of the plane's seats to start a fire. Around them lay the scattered, dismembered bodies of the dead. As day turned into night, the danger intensified. John warns everyone, "At the crack of dawn, we must leave this place. Otherwise, we won't survive in this cold for long. Somehow, we managed to make a fire today, but what about tomorrow?" One of the passengers says, "If we leave, what if the company sends someone to search for us here? They might not be able to find us anywhere else. And where will we go from here? It's all snow-covered." John responds, "Don't worry. The company won't look for us. To them, we are just employees. Whether we live or die doesn't matter to the company. To stay alive, we must fight." In the darkness of the freezing night, they make arrangements to get through it. Shortly after, John hears a sound from afar. Moving toward the source of the noise, John encounters a new danger. He sees glowing eyes in the dense darkness. Coming a little closer, he realizes it's a wolf. The wolf was tearing apart and eating one of his colleagues. Before John could react, the wolf pounced on him. John struggles to free himself, but the wolf almost drags him away. John screams, and the other members rush to his aid, rescuing him from the wolf's grip. John's leg is badly injured from the wolf's bite. Surprising everyone, John says, "We are in a dangerous wolf territory. There are many dead bodies nearby, and the scent of blood will bring the wolves back here. If we want to survive, we need to dispose of these corpses quickly, because wolves eliminate any creature that comes within 30 miles of their den." Together, they begin burying the bodies in the snow. At one point, John notices a passenger named Friendy stealing a wallet from another's pocket. That evening, they sat around the fire, eating and sharing stories about their lives. Suddenly, an unexpected noise startles everyone. Holding a firebrand, John moves toward the source of the noise. The others follow him. In the dense darkness, they see a group of wolves. The flickering firelight reveals their glowing eyes. John realizes that their time is up. Wolves are creatures with families, much like humans. Within a wolf pack, there is always a leader or an alpha. When the leader wolf jumps on someone, the other wolves follow suit. At this moment, John tells everyone, "No one will run away from here. Everyone, Keep your sharp eyes on the wolves' eyes. If anyone runs, we will all die, because the moment the wolves sense our fear, they will attack us immediately." Everyone follows John's instructions and stares straight at the wolves. After some time, the wolves move into the dense darkness. They decide that during the night, they will take turns guarding the others. They must do this to stay safe from the wolves, because even if the wolves have retreated, they are still somewhere nearby. A moment of carelessness could cost them their lives. John and a man named Barkley take the first watch. After some time, John falls asleep and dreams about his wife. In the dream, his wife encourages him to fight this difficult situation and says, "Don't be afraid. I am always with you." Meanwhile, Barkley moves aside with the firebrand. Suddenly, a wolf pounces on him. The next morning, when John wakes up, he searches for Barkley but finds that Barkley is no longer alive. The wolves killed him, but they didn't take his body because they weren't hungry. They are simply trying to drive these people out of their territory. Seeing Barkley's dead body, everyone becomes extremely frightened. When John tells everyone to leave this place with him, Friendy starts arguing with John. John says, "I am leaving this place because staying here means that anyone can die at any moment. You can join me if you want." Everyone follows John. Before leaving, they collect the wallets of the deceased to inform their families of their deaths when they return to the city. John takes his gun from the snow and some essential items, and the 6 of them set out. They move along the snowy mountain peaks. But their troubles are far from over. After walking for a while, a fierce snowstorm begins. In the thick storm, they can barely see each other. One of them lags behind and falls victim to the wolves. The others can't hear his screams due to the storm. The wolves tear apart his body and devour him. John manages to see this and runs to save him, but the thick snow makes it difficult to walk, delaying their arrival. By the time they get there, the man is already dead. Without wasting time, they quickly head toward the forest, hoping it will be safer than the snow. But this assumption proves to be wrong. As they near the forest, a pack of wolves surrounds them, howling menacingly. John and the others run into the forest, trying to light a fire, as only fire can protect them from the fierce wolves. Gathering dry paper and wood from the snow, they manage to light a fire after much effort and try to survive the night. They also make some small weapons for self-defense, but these are insufficient to fight the wolves. Suddenly, they hear the roar of a wolf. Looking up, John and Friendy see Alpha standing right in front of them. Alpha, the leader of the wolf pack, takes a few steps toward them, causing everyone to become extremely frightened. Alpha looks at them for a while and then walks away. Friendy was the most frightened of all after seeing Alpha, but he didn't realize that another wolf was still following him from the darkness. Suddenly, a wolf attacks him, but everyone comes together and somehow kills the wolf. John says, "Alpha sent this wolf to scare us." They then roast the wolf's meat and eat it because they hadn't eaten anything for a long time and had no choice. Friendy makes another mistake out of anger by throwing the wolf's head into the forest. This enrages the other wolves, and they begin howling fiercely. Grabbing Firebrand, everyone quickly leaves the spot and heads in another direction. But shortly after, one of them falls sick and can no longer walk. They are forced to stop. They stay awake all night, unable to sleep as the wolves are nearby and could attack at any moment. At dawn, another snowstorm begins. They desperately search for a safe shelter to survive. When the storm subsides, they continue their journey. After walking for a while, they hear the sound of running water. John says, "We might be very close to a settlement. A little further, and we could find a safe place." They follow the sound and soon see a river flowing rapidly down a steep mountainside. Reaching the river down this slope was a challenge. After much thought, the 4 of them decide to use the slope to reach the river because entering the forest was impossible. They tie their clothes together to make a long rope. One of them jumps into the pine forest on the other side of the river and somehow ties the rope tightly to a tree. One by one, they begin crossing the river using the rope. But one of them, afraid of heights, gets stuck midway on the rope. His glasses fall off and the rope snaps under his weight. He falls into the ravine and dies. Before the others can reach him, several wolves arrive and drag his body away. Now the 3 remaining members continue. While climbing down from the tree, Friendy injures his leg badly, making it difficult for him to walk. Somehow they reach the riverbank, where Friendy tells them, "I can't go any further." I'm out of strength. In reality, Friendly was mentally shattered because the events they were going through were unimaginable. John wanted to take him along, but Friendly decided to stay behind. With no other option, John and Hendrik continue their journey. Walking along the riverbank, two wolves chase them. John and Hendrik run for their lives. During the chase, Hendrik falls into the rushing river. Struggling to keep himself afloat, he gets his foot stuck under a rock. John jumps into the water to save him, but he can't pull Hendrik out. Hendrik drowns. John emerges from the water completely devastated. Of the 7 who started this journey, he is the only one left alive. Feeling helpless, John cries out to God, "If you truly exist, show yourself. Help me. I can't take this anymore. How much can one man endure?" John stares at the sky, hoping for divine assistance. After a while, he strengthens his resolve and starts walking through the pine forest in search of civilization. Carrying Hendrik's bag containing the wallets of all the deceased, John walks a little further and sits down on the ground. He takes out his wallet and looks at a picture of his family. He recalls something his father once said, "Maybe today, I will start a new life, or today will be the last day of my life." At that moment, John senses the presence of wolves. He ties small glass bottles and knives to his hand. Soon, Alpha stands before him. John prepares for his final battle. Both stare intently at each other as if silently saying, "I am ready for this fight." The movie ends here. However, in the final scene, Alpha is shown lying on the ground, breathing slowly. This is exactly how the movie's opening scene depicted, John sensing a wolf's breathing. Nothing more is shown in the movie, leaving the ending open to interpretation and sparking much debate. The director of this movie had mentioned in a press conference that he didn't want to show the final battle between the human and the wolf. He believes that both creatures are equal. The wolves were fighting for their existence because humans had entered their territory, and the human was fighting to protect his own life. In other words, both were fighting to preserve their existence from their own place. The director has portrayed both wild animals and humans equally in this movie. The importance of survival for both is no less than the other. Let us know what you thought of today's video in the comments box. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.